Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on February the 19th, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So overall, in terms of what's going on in the markets, we had talked about the Texas weather. They're getting a really crazy cold weather, and as a result of that there have been a lot of disruptions, of course, as well as there have been disruptions in the supply chain for oil, and we did see that price of oil had gone up. But today we did see the price of actually the inventories, the oil inventories, there was a big drawdown. However, oil price did come back down. So a lot of volatility in the market right now, back and forth going on. So we have to be careful. Same thing with the stock market as well. There was a decline and then it moved back up. As well as the US dollar, we have seen a back and forth in the US dollar as well. So just be mindful of all the volatility that we are seeing in the market right now. In terms of what's coming up in our news here, we do have PMI numbers. So a lot of PMI numbers here tomorrow. So we have PMI numbers out of the Eurozone. We have retail sales numbers as well as the PMI numbers for UK as well. So expect volatility in both euro and British pound. And in terms of our New York session, we do have PMI numbers out of the US as well. So expect volatility around all these numbers. So if the numbers don't come in positive, they come in below expectations, that will be negative for the currencies. So that's it in terms of the news. So let's go on to our charts here. All right, looking at euro dollar here, we see that the price has pushed higher. It didn't quite make it to our trend line. It bounced right off there. Now it's at an interesting level here. So we see this is where price is at 1.2100. And at this point, we do have a bullish candle close, but it's not quite bullish engulfing. So it could go in either direction. So direction for today in terms of euro is neutral. And in this case, if it holds below 1.2100, we are looking for a drop back into the support level here. However, if it goes through this resistance level, then we're looking for it to go all the way into the top of the range. So right now, price has been trading in a bit of a range here. And if price doesn't, price goes through, basically we're looking for price to go all the way into the top of the range, and then it may come back into the range. So right now, neutral bias for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, pound went right up, it bounced right off and then continued on with this the positive momentum here. So looking bullish right now. And in terms of our targets here, now we are into levels that we haven't seen in quite some time. So in this case, the first target is a 1.40, and then beyond that, we are looking at 1.4030. This is likely to go higher actually. So 1.4050. So bias here is bullish for pound dollar as well. But like I said, expect volatility in the market, and also it's Friday. Fridays can be reversal days as well. So just bear that in mind. Aussie dollar here. Aussie dollar looks range bound at the moment. Price hasn't really done much. Today's candle closes neutral as well, just like yesterday. It's still bouncing around in this range here. So expecting price to continue doing the same. I'm looking for a sideways move here. So bias here is neutral for Aussie dollar, and I'm looking for a move between 0.7800 and then 0.7710. New Zealand dollar here, this one as well, still a range bound here. Price is just going back and forth, hasn't really been able to move much here. So looking for price to basically go sideways here as well. So neutral bias here for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD, this one as well, we did see a drop here, but it's still stuck in this range. It has been bouncing around between 1.2750, and then on the bottom we have 1.2620, still expecting price to trade within this range here. So bias is neutral for dollar CAD as well. So with Canadian dollar, we have seen that price, it's impacted by the oil, so we'll have to keep an eye on oil price. So if oil price drops further, then dollar CAD is likely to go higher towards 1.2750. Euro pound here, this one is continuing on its downward trend here. So we are into the support resistance level. Bias is still to the downside. Next target is 0.8620, and then we are into 0.8600. So bias here is bearish for euro pound. Euro Swiss franc here, this one wants to be moving out of this range. So bullish bias here, last couple of days looking quite bullish here. 1.0850 is the next target. So this is the top of this little range it's been trading in. So bullish bias here for Euro Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc, another leg higher all the way into our second target here. So still looking bullish. It is into strong support resistance level, so just keep that in mind. But in terms of target, next target is 1.2600. So bullish bias here for a pound Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss franc here, US dollar not doing that great. So it's been a back and forth here as well. We have a bit of a bearish move here, so we may see a drop towards 0.8880. But this one is neutral, so neutral, kind of sideways at the moment, so a neutral to slightly bearish bias here for dollar Swiss franc. Pound yen here, pound yen actually went up. It didn't drop, it went all the way up here. And with the pound being so strong, this will still be bullish here. Like I said, though, watch out for reversals on Friday because we are going into Friday here. And in terms of our target here, we're looking at 148.50. So bias is bullish. The only thing to keep in mind here is it's kind of sideways here a little bit. We are into major support resistance level here all the way into this. So we could see a decline from there. So watch out for that. Especially if the stock market turns around, this one could drop here as well. So all the yen crosses could turn around with stock market dropping further. So right now, neutral to bullish bias here. Once it clears this 147.75 level, then next target is 148.50. Euro here, euro is holding above the support level here and hasn't been able to go through. So with the current level here, this one could go in either direction. We do see a bounce off of the support level. However, we could see a move like this. So keep that in mind. If it doesn't go through 128, we're looking for a follow through move. But I'm basically looking for a range bound move here sideways. I think we could get a sideways move here. So neutral bias here for euro yen. Dollar yen here, this one, as we can see, price tried to go through the high here and we had a pin bar. So we did get that follow through on the bearish pin bar here. And now we're looking for price to drop further here. In terms of the target, 105.40. And then second target is 105.20. So bias is bearish here for dollar yen. Aussie yen here, this one is sideways still. Hasn't really done a whole lot. Today's candle close is completely neutral. So looking for price to basically go sideways here. So neutral bias here for dollar yen. New Zealand yen, this one is also sideways at the moment right now. Not a whole lot going on in the market right now. So neutral bias at this point, looking for price to move between 76.20 and 75.75. CAD yen here, CAD yen, we had a big move up in CAD yen, and this was because of supply chain disruptions in regards to oil. So that has a positive impact on Canadian dollar. Now that we have seen a drop in oil, if we see oil drops further, we are likely to see CAD yen drop as well, or just Canadian dollar will be negatively impacted by that. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. Right now, target here is 83, but that's a strong support. So we'll have to watch out. But once it breaks this, next target is 82.70, which is the base of this inefficient move to the upside. So this inefficient move here could get filled. So this big move here, we could see that one filled. So this one, so keep an eye on that. So neutral to bearish bias here for CAD yen. Pound New Zealand still continuing higher. It's all the way into 1.9400. Seems to be bouncing off of this level though. This is an important support resistance level, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. However, we may see a pullback and then a further move to the upside, so watch out for that. This could happen. But then we also have PMI numbers coming out for as well as retail sales numbers for pound, which could turn things around. So right now, bias is bullish with caution though. First target would be the high 1.94. If it goes through, then we're looking at 1.9480. Otherwise, I would be looking for a sideways move here for pound New Zealand. Euro New Zealand, this one is still stuck in the sideways move here. As we can see, price is struggling in this level. So neutral to bearish bias here, it would have to go through for it to continue lower. So right now it's struggling with support at 1.6720. So bias is neutral to bearish. Next target is 1.6650. EURCAD here, EURCAD seeing a turnaround because of, again, price of oil here. Looking bullish right now, target is 1.5375, but then this is where it may struggle. So keep an eye on this one. We could get a sideways move like that if it doesn't go through. But once it crosses over here, the next target is 1.5435. So right now, bullish bias with caution though, around 1.5375. Pound CAD, huge move to the upside. Canadian dollar not doing that great because of the turnaround in oil here. And of course, we have seen a positive move across the board in pound. So this is quite a large move as a result of this. Still looking bullish here. 1.7800 is the next target to the upside. So bullish bias for pound CAD. Euro Aussie here, not a whole lot in terms of movement. It's kind of sideways at the moment. We may get a higher move towards 1.56, but if it holds below that level, then we are looking for another move lower. So we'll have to keep an eye on 1.5600. So bias right now is neutral for Euro Aussie. Pound Aussie here, this is right into the top of the range. It's been trading in this range for many weeks now. So at this point, price is right into the high, and this is where it has turned around several times. So at this point, neutral bias, I'm looking for a move back into the middle of the range here. So bias is neutral for Pound Aussie. All right, let's take a look at our silver here. Silver, not looking that great. We did have a bearish bias, and now prices gone out of that immediate range back into the overall range here. So bias is still to the downside here. 25.85 is the target. So still sideways there, so neutral to bearish bias for silver, looking for it to trade within this range here. Gold here still looking bearish. Price is struggling with the support level, hasn't really gone anywhere. Today's candle close was a neutral overall, but it is holding below this previous support resistance level, which means it still has that bearishness in it. So in this case, it's already into the first target. Second target is 1745. So bearish bias for neutral to bearish bias here for gold. Oil here, oil turning around, even though the inventories, there was a drawdown in inventories. Now things are looking up a bit, and as a result, there is no big concern in regards to the oil supplies. So we are seeing a drop in oil. So this big move up here is reversing here. So bearish bias, target is 57.20. Copper here, copper also holding up that momentum to the upside. However, now we see a neutral candle close here. So if it doesn't go through the resistance here, we could see a drop back towards 3.75. So watch out for that. This may be setting up for a reversal, so I'd keep an eye on it. In this case, first target would be 3.80. So bias here is neutral. Bitcoin here, Bitcoin had gone up. So with the oil dropping, we may see this one drop as well. This big move here, inefficient move, may get filled. Now, important thing to watch out would be this 50,500 level. If it doesn't go through, then we could see another leg higher. So overall, it's still maintaining that upward bias here. But we need to watch how price relates to this level here. So right now, bias is neutral to bullish, but once it gets through 50,500 level, then we're basically looking for a move all the way back into the base of this candle, into 49,000, 48,500. So right now, neutral bias for Bitcoin. Stock market here, stock market, we were looking for a drop. We got this back into this 38.80 level. Now it did bounce off of that level, so things are not quite as stable. Right now, neutral to bearish bias here. For it to continue and become really actually turn into bearish here, we have to see this drop. If we don't see a drop through 38.80, in that case, we are back into the range and we may see more of a range bound move. But in order for this to continue lower, we need to see a break at 38.80. So right now, neutral to bearish bias. Once we see this break, we're looking at 38.40. NASDAQ here, NASDAQ also looking bearish here. It did drop, but then it bounced back just like it did yesterday. So right now we need to be careful a bit, but overall it's still holding on to that bearishness. So target here is 13,340. So neutral to bearish bias for NASDAQ as well. Dow Jones here, same thing. It's trading sideways in this range still. We did see that drop, but then price has pulled back. So right now, looking for a retest of the low. If it doesn't go through, we're back into the range. So bias here is neutral to bearish. 31,220 is the target. DAX here, DAX hasn't really done a whole lot. It did drop initially, but then it has bounced back again. So bias is neutral here. So looking for a retest of the low at 13,800. And if it holds, looking for that move higher. So bias here is neutral. FTSE here, nice drop in FTSE. We are right into the top of this range that it was stuck in for quite some time. So this is where we have to be careful. If it doesn't get through, we are back here again. But now both of these candles are inefficient, which means we could see a drop back here all the way into 64.70. So bias here is bearish. Just a bit of caution here because it got stuck on the way up. So it may get stuck on the way down. It can go sideways here. So be mindful of that. But right now, bearish bias 64.70 is the target. All right, last but not least, we have Nikkei here. Nikkei slowly trying to make its way down. Now, in this case, watch out for the support resistance level right here. This is where it had broken out of the range. So this becomes an important level to watch. If it doesn't go through, then I will look for a range bound move here. And we may see price essentially just go back and forth here. So this is the range it has established, and this is what I would be looking for. But the important thing is once it does break through here, then this move here becomes available to us, and we're likely to see another leg lower. So right now, neutral to bearish bias here for Nikkei. First target is 29,700, and if it goes through that, we're looking at 29,150. All right, so that's it for now. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll be back again with the weekly analysis on Sunday. Bye for now.